Hey guys, it's Will. This article kind of pissed me off, so I thought I would just talk about it and hopefully help you guys if you're having any of these issues. But a lot of Silicon Valley, where a lot of IT startups and that are getting kind of attacked in various reasons. And this guy says we deserve it. And there's sort of a feeling $700 juicer, and the apps that the solutions that people are solving aren't significant enough is kind of the point. And his suggestion is that some of these startups focus on some of these problems that the middle class are having. And there's nothing wrong with that at its face. But there's a certain viewpoint in this article, guilt about Silicon Valley, and that people should be doing things for altruistic reasons. And I think that there's nothing wrong with the businesses that people are starting if they're successful and people want those services. But he mentioned some problems here that people are having, and what this potential high-tech solutions that could be. And I want to talk about other solutions that I personally have done. So some of the problems are people graduate with high loans. So they're saddled with a lot of debt, and they have to start paying it back when they're still starting out and they don't make a lot of money. So maybe there's a way to solve that issue. I'm just going to go through these first. Working in cities, so expensive, super expensive to find housing in some of these cities. And so that's tricky, when you're starting out. Having a child, so there's a lot of financial requirements, a lot of cost to having kids. How can we help these parents with care without having to spend a fortune? Losing your job, so retraining. How do we make sure people are reemployed? That's an important one. And post-retirement, people can't afford to retire. The savings are only $8,000. Healthcare costs are high. So how can we reduce this financial burden? And so it's kind of a tech article, solution-based, startups that could maybe focus on these issues. Nothing wrong with that at its face. But I'm about empowering you as an individual and what you can do. So let's look at the first one. Graduating with loans. Okay. So what you want to do is really consider the cost the amount of money you're going to spend on an education. Nowadays, especially with IT jobs in IT fields, you can learn online for free or pretty cheap. There's Udacity, Udemy, tons of free YouTube videos. I've been doing this myself. There's a lot of free open source software products, React, which is for building web apps, React.js, Vue, and if you want to get technical. Coding in the cryptocurrency space, blockchain, lots of courses for free or pretty cheap online. So also look at where you're going to university if you are going to go. Some of them are not as expensive as others, different cities, things like that. But I think the online space is really important. So I'm all for more education, more systems and platforms, but there's a lot out there right now. And picking fields that are going to pay, like people come out, I don't know, 50, 100,000 in debt, and they got some degree that they may not, like a history degree or something, and they may not have a lot of job opportunities or even high paying opportunities. So really look at areas like I say, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Those are great areas to get into. Working in cities, now cities are super expensive, and like so if you look at New York, San Francisco, so look at smaller cities. But what I did was I moved out of the city, and you might have to get a bit of experience first, but there's a lot of remote work. Like that's why I promote IT work a lot. There's a lot of work for remote jobs online. You can work anywhere. Also consider digital entrepreneurship, where you got your laptop and you're in a coffee shop and you can do that from anywhere and build a business that way. But keep your costs down, and live at home at the beginning if you have to, but you don't have to do these things, is what my point is. You don't have to take out a huge loan to go to university. You don't have to work in a huge city that's going to be super expensive. I've turned down opportunities to work in San Francisco and New York and that because it doesn't make sense. Even if you're making 100,000, you're still not going to it's not going to be worth it when you look at the living costs and stuff like that. Having a child, I don't know, I just think that people shouldn't necessarily have a child right away, and that's obviously going to take planning with birth control, but people are having kids and they can't afford it. I know a lot of examples, and you gotta wait and get yourself established financially. That's my opinion. or if one person can work and the other person can stay home. But a lot of people now are spending so much money on eating out in restaurants, coffees, media like TV, internet, just living an extravagant lifestyle, and they're not really in a situation where they should be having kids at that point. And so it's just amazing how many people don't really plan this area of their life. Losing your job, retraining, like I said, the internet, amazing for that. I'm all for more education and retraining of people, especially if they're in trades or things like, coal or whatever, and things that jobs that are losing, going down in availability. I would definitely look at retraining yourself. And there's so much. I'm constantly learning online with a lot of free stuff on YouTube, but there are a lot of cheap courses online as well. But I'm all for anything that would improve education, because that's the key as far as I'm concerned, to keep up with the newer technologies and jobs that are available. Post-retirement, they're saying people don't save, so anything that could help people save. But like I said, personal responsibility. What I did was I invested in dividend-paying stocks, so every quarter I get paid dividends, and I reinvest those, but you can eventually live on the dividends. So those are stocks that are blue chip, like pharmaceuticals, energy, banks, like things like that are going to produce, even retail, that are going to produce dividends. And if there's ways that people could save more automatically, that would be great. But people are sort of focusing on the present moment and spending money now for instant gratification rather than saving. And like I said, all these solutions, in my opinion, are personal choices, and that you can take control of and do yourself. You don't have to wait for some magic application that's going to do something for you. And I don't really think in a lot of cases that Silicon Valley has to focus on these issues, but there are some things that could definitely be improved. With the blockchain, it's decentralizing a lot of things. So if people are upset that Facebook and Google are making a lot of money from content they're also paying out a lot of money to people via advertising, like YouTube in particular. And there are issues with demonetization, but these are amazing technologies, and it's allowing me to put videos up on YouTube and Facebook and actually generate income through my own ebooks and other sources. So the value of having all of us being able to have our own following is incredible. But these things, over time, these sites are getting decentralized, so there's alternatives coming out now, and that's going to prevent hopefully some of the censorship and demonetization of sites. So there's a lot of cool things, technologies enabling more of a distributed approach, and even with the Bitcoin is like decentralizing from the banks, the centralized banks, to a more global situation. So anyways, I'm just here to empower you as an individual, not to wait or blame other people for any of these issues that you have. There's always a way around it. So hope you guys like that. I'll talk to you later.